Were you guys ever thinking about each other even though you guys divorced? So Tito, were you still thinking about Tita Nanning while you're not together?
Yeah, I do.
Oh my gosh, Tita. Okay, one, two, three. Cheers, Mars.
Kamusta my fellow Filipinos from across the globe?
Hindi po kami lasing.
We're just happy to be here.
Welcome to the Mars
What na? Podcast!
where our conversation is free-flowing.
Like the alcohol that we may or may not be drinking.
You've got your Kumares,
Michelle, aka Chang Babe, and
Bethany, aka Betcha by Gali Wow, and we're back again with our episode about modern families. What exactly about modern families we're going to be covering in this episode, Mars?
it's going to be really juicy because
Yes.
it's a divorce and back. Apparently, there's a term for that. It's called boomerang marriage. Never
Oh, I
knew.
get it.
Googled.
Boomerang. Kasi you throw it, it
Mhm.
swings back. I get it. So,
Mm-mm.
okay,
Swings back
we will
on their
learn the juicy details and the story about that from our special guest. We have Tita Neneng and Tito Jake. Welcome to our podcast.
They're
Hi.
here.
Hi.
Hello.
Thank you for having us.
We're
It's
more
a
than happy to
pleasure.
have you guys here with us. Would you want to share? Okay, so you're both here in Hong Kong, is that right?
Yes.
Yes. And
Born and
then-
raised, or you guys?
I
came
was
here
born and raised in
later?
Hong Kong.
Mm.
Tito Jake was born in Manila.
Oh, okay.
When did Tito Jake arrive? May ganun.
Well, we met in May of 1997,
Ooh.
and we got married in August of the same year.
Mhm.
And he's been here since then.
Nice.
You dragged him here. Come
I
here
did.
with me.
Literally.
Nice.
Okay, so you guys, from what you just said, you met and then you got married within the same year. Is that right? Like you did
3
say
months.
3
3
months.
months after we met.
Do you
I
want
know.
to share that story? Like go into like the first like romantic
nitty-gritty.
moments, like the killing
kilig
moments
moments?
between the two of you. Yes.
Like how you told family members, like, we're gonna get married after dating for 3 months.
Oh, my mom's first reaction was, "Are you kidding?" Because at that time I wasn't dating anyone at the time, and we met when I went to work. I was working for a Japanese firm at the time, and I met him at his workplace. So a week after that, we were on the phone constantly, and I told my mom he'll be coming over to visit.
Mm.
And probably at the time, my mom was thinking, is she having an imaginary boyfriend?
Oh no.
So, anyways, he came to visit a
Mm-hmm.
month later, and he asked for my hand.
Oh.
The traditional
you-
way, actually.
Yeah, actually.
Tita, how did you feel like asking asking Tita Neneng's parents, like, oh, is it alright? Or like, surprise, I'm gonna marry your daughter.
Nervous, but
Of
Yeah.
course.
very nervous.
How did the
It has to be
conversation
done.
go? It has
It
to
has
be.
to be done. So
Oh.
you know, that's how it went.
How did the conversation go with the parents and you?
It's
Was
very
it-
casual.
Oh.
Very casual. Wala namang tension.
There were no fists. Right?
Yeah, there's no like, if something happens,
No threat.
Oh, they're very
Ah.
nice people even before. So it's okay.
Good to know.
That's a different story with my titos and Harold. Like, alagaan mo yan, ah. So yeah, in our topic, it's like divorce and back. So how long were you guys? Let's go straight. How long were you guys together?
Yes.
And what, like maybe what broke it?
We were married for 11 years
Mm.
already with our two boys
Mm.
when things went south.
Mm.
Oh,
I
11 years.
see. 11 years then. Um, if ever like because that was like quite a long time for you guys to be together, and then like how did, if I may ask, if it's not too sensitive, parang how did it go? Like what was the final like ano yun? Nail in the coffin na parang they're like you decided to go in that direction.
Hmm. Like what made you
Uh,
guys end it?
Before it actually led to the actual breakup, or let's say the nail in the coffin, there were a lot of months where there were a lot of anger, there were a lot of disappointments with each other, and
Mm.
Mm.
eventually, like a lot of marriages that have broken up, it's third party.
Mm.
Mm.
Very classic, very, as things went south further for us,
Mm.
another person was able to come right in between, I guess.
Mm.
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 How
I
long did
see.
that conversation go with you two, and how did it go with your sons? Because you have to explain to your son like, okay, we can't.
Oh, at the time, they were both very young, only
Mm.
10 and almost 6.
Oh.
Mm.
So the back and forth was maybe 2, 3 months.
Oh, two,
And
three
then
months.
finally, it was, that's it. If this is where we're going,
Mm.
this is it.
Mm-mm. Sir, I'm curious lang because you got married here in Hong Kong, is that right?
Yes.
Mm.
So for that, because I was curious whether it would be like divorce or annulment, because in the Philippines it's annulment because there's no divorce at all. So like, um, yeah, was it a tough process to do that whole thing? Because once you decided, you both needed to like find lawyers, and I'm sure it was quite a it took a lot of time to get all those things done, right?
Mm.
Actually, not in our
Oh,
case.
oh,
You see, this guy sitting next to me is a man of few words. So
oh.
Right.
I'm going to go
We
on
will
and share.
we'll drag him in. Don't worry, Tito.
Um, we were separated for 3 years first.
Oh, okay, okay.
There were no legal procedures. There were no,
Yes.
obviously, the boy stayed with me.
Mm.
Hmm.
He was the one who moved out. But it took us 3 years to finally talk about divorce.
Mm, mm. Yeah,
And
so
the divorce procedure, if I may continue, is was very simple for us because we went for a joint application. I didn't petition for it and waiting for him
oh.
to respond. No, we went and met up at the family court, which is situated in One Chai, and we
Mm.
just went on and filled out forms after forms, and that was it. It wasn't.
It was
Uh,
brutal. The
it,
forms.
the forms were brutal. I mean, there were like
Oh, I'm
seven,
thinking.
Was it
8 sets of
long?
them.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was, except for their names, there were other information that you needed to provide them. But all in all, it wasn't a complicated procedure. It was just 3 months, and our marriage, which took place in 1997, was null and void. Just like
Mm.
no contests. We already agreed on child support and where the kids will be. So it was just 3 months, and our marriage was null and void.
Mm.
Mm.
Very
It seemed like because you said you were actually separated for a while, so you guys were actually giving it time in a way, right? You weren't really willing to end it, as in like and cut connections and all those things. So prior to actually deciding on the divorce and stuff, like did you have support? Like did you talk to like family members to like kind of not clear your heads, but get like an idea if you still wanted to proceed with this kind of like final.
Tito, how about you? Did you
What about
connect
you?
with family members with this
I
decision
think
that you guys made?
yeah, I think that's normal to ask family members about it, about your
Yeah,
decision. And
exactly.
all they
How,
can do is support you,
Yeah.
whatever
yeah,
decision. The
true,
family
true.
supports your decision. My family supports my decision. So
Hmm.
Mhm.
you
Respecting
know,
both sides,
That's
mutual.
true. That's true.
but then we remained in contact. We
Hmm.
were not totally estranged.
Yeah.
My
Nice.
family is still talking to her.
Hmm.
Oh,
Her family is talking to me. Like
Hmm.
so
we're
it's
talking to each
mostly
other.
kumusta? How are you na? How's everything?
Yeah.
Especially my youngest sister.
Hmm.
She's very close to her.
Oh, I see.
Oh, the
Oh.
connection's still there.
Yeah, that's good then, especially of course for the kids to still have like, to see kahit papano na, that there is still a way for you guys to, be peacefully communicating and all those things.
Sorry, I'm back.
Hi. I
Hi.
have a question. Like how were the kids adjusting with the
Yeah.
separation? Because you
It was
Uh,
did say they
difficult.
were young.
It was
Mm-hmm.
difficult for them.
It
Of
was
we
course.
tried to be as honest as possible, but considering their young age, it was very difficult to tell them that Daddy won't be living with us anymore,
Mm-hmm.
and even harder uh, to make them understand without really telling them the reason why.
Of course.
So, yung first 3 years na yun na we were separated, I have always hoped that we could work things out.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously at that point in time, Tito didn't we weren't on the same page. So that is why it led to the divorce
Mm-hmm.
because he has obviously moved on at that time. So
Mm-hmm.
there's really no point for me, at least. There was really no point to stay legally married. And
Mm-hmm.
at that point in time in my life, I wanted to move on without, any of those legalities tying me down.
yeah.
Makes
So
sense. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tito, were the kids mad at you and
No.
Tita?
Huh?
Were the kids mad at the both of you? Like, oh, you guys couldn't fix this. We should, like blaming you
They,
guys.
they were not vocal about it, but I'm sure they were.
Uh,
They just because of their young age, they couldn't
oh,
express
that's
it
that sound.
properly.
To follow up din, kasi I mentioned earlier about like being in the Philippines, um, divorce not being a common thing, but did you ever get any reactions from like relatives or people on the outside who are not privy to exactly what happened, but just because they know that you guys are a divorced couple, did you get any like negative reactions? And then did
No,
you
no,
know
no.
naman? Okay.
no.
Kasi we've always maintained our privacy,
Ah, that's good.
even with relatives. So
Mm,
whatever is happening in our lives is between us.
mm-mm,
That's
We
good.
don't involve them,
mm-mm.
so don't involve us also with their shit, right?
True,
True.
Plain and
true.
simple.
Exactly.
Well, truth
Grabe
be
naman.
told, if I may, add a little, they were all supportive, regardless of whether they agree or not,
Yeah.
or they were in their own shock of oh, what happened. But they
Yeah.
Mm,
were all very respectful of what
Oh,
has transpired in our lives at that point.
yeah.
I'm sure.
But for sure, like family members, they're very supportive and all. Do you have friends that were giving a lot of their opinions, and how did you guys handle it?
Mm, on my side, my best friend, since high school is my other half. When I'm angry, she's angry. When I'm sad, she's sad.
Of course.
So she was upset with Tito Jake's decision at the time. So obviously she's biased. She's on my side. Um, but your mama Cheng, your mama and your papa,
Opo.
they were my, they became my pillars of strength at that time. No judgment whatsoever towards Tito. They were just there whenever I needed them. It doesn't matter day or night. It doesn't matter. They were just there.
Oh,
Aw,
my
that's
parents.
Yes,
so
yes.
yeah,
Oh,
because I'm sure the both of you were both going through then like talaga you're like different kinds of hurts then on both sides. So it was good na like you had some friends that were talaga behind you to carry you guys during these moments.
Um, if I may, if I may be, as honest as I could be,
yeah, go.
Please.
my side of the family was not as supportive as I wanted them to be, or maybe they didn't know how to be there for me.
Mm.
So, at least the first year, I relied so much on Cheng's parents.
Mm.
I'm sure they were hurting for me, my mom and my dad, my whole family, they were hurting for me. They were angry at Tito Jake, but it wasn't the kind of support that I needed at the time. So it's 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 of course my the side of my family will always be biased. They will always be on my side regardless of what happened. So they weren't there so much for me, or I didn't allow them
Mm.
to be there for me the way that Chang's parents were there for me. It's
Mm,
different. It's different.
of
Mm.
course. Because
Yeah.
I notice like whenever we're hurt, we automatic others would automatically think, okay, family will be there, but then sometimes there's different support system that actually would help
Mm.
you as a person
Absolutely.
and that would understand you. True.
Absolutely. Because at that point, if you were in that kind of situation, you don't actually want, there are a lot of things that you don't actually want to hear
Yeah.
Mm.
from your,
Exactly.
basically from your parents, or
Yeah.
Mm,
mainly from your parents. So I was at that place where I don't need your opinion. I don't need your advice. I remember
mm,
telling my mom this. It was a little hurtful, but it was true because I told her, you will never know what I'm feeling right now
Mm.
because you are still married. You're still
Mm.
with
mm,
Papa. There,
Mm.
so please don't tell me that you know what I'm going through because you never will.
mm.
I guess now looking back, I know it's very hurtful for her, maybe,
Of
but
course.
it's the truth.
Mm.
So
Sometimes you just
ayun,
have to let it out then.
Mm.
my support system was very different. It didn't involve a lot of uh, my family,
Mm.
but doesn't mean that they didn't care. So
I'm
like what I
sure.
said
True.
in the beginning, they just didn't know how to handle me. I'm a handful.
Tita, on your side, for sure do you hear stuff from their Tita Neneng's parents, even though like they're very supportive at some point, but then like what Tita said, um they would say hurtful things that they would think it would be helpful for her because of tough love. Do you hear it from others? Or do
No,
you
at
hear
that
it
point they
directly from
stopped
them?
talking to me.
Ah.
Mm.
Best to be
Completely.
safe.
Yes.
They might
Give
say
them
something else.
room. Yeah.
True.
It's
And
it's
then
it's a good thing that she has those kinds of support because I didn't have. I was the
Mm.
yeah.
bad guy, so nobody supports
Mm.
the bad guy.
Mm.
Right?
But for sure you have like what you said, you have your sister. Do you go to her during those times?
Yeah, because you said that they're close, right?
We can only talk so much, but
Mm.
they're not hearing. They're in
True.
different
Mm.
places. So I was on my own.
So you felt alone mentally because you're like, oh,
Yeah,
uh,
bad guys usually are.
you're not a bad guy. You make people make bad decisions lang.
True naman, true naman.
Sip.
No, 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 no. No bias, no bias. I learned it from my student. He's like, he's not bad. He's just making
Who
bad
makes
decisions. I'm
bad
like,
decision?
I'm gonna learn from you. You guys, I don't know if it's Tita or Tita who said that. Yeah, the kids were with you the whole
Yes, with
time,
with
right?
with Tita. Yeah.
Mm.
Were there any transition where okay, you stay with Papa Muna for this week or for this day?
Yeah.
Ah,
Also completely no contact for this period. Ah, I see, I
Well,
see.
no, I
ah,
made it a point to allow Tito to see them whenever he wanted.
Okay.
No
okay.
limits. No limits. But I
Yeah.
did put my foot down on the boys having sleepovers with him.
Hmm.
Okay. So just meetups, no sleepovers.
When they were younger, it was usually Tito coming over here.
Yes, yes.
He's allowed to stay here. He's allowed to take them out. Um, at the end of the day, Tito is their father,
Hmm.
Yeah.
but definitely no sleepovers.
Ah, okay. And
And
how
then
did you feel about it, Tito, with the transition?
It's okay. I have to follow
Yeah.
the rules.
Follow the laws of Tita Neneng.
Yeah.
You know me so
was
well, Chang.
was there ever a point where you're like, no, you're stepping the line already with our kids? Meaning,
Mm.
like, we had this agreement, and then you didn't follow
Oh,
with it,
there
follow through.
was there was one occasion that I went berserk.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Um, it was a situation that we both agreed will not happen, but he did go ahead anyways, which made
Mm.
me very, very upset. And I said no. And I hope at the time it never happened again. So for me, kasi, we made a decision to be in this situation.
Yeah.
Like, let's follow rules.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, like set
Especially
boundaries and
when the,
stuff.
yes, absolutely. Especially when the boys were younger.
Like for how long exactly did this go on for? Like yung arrangement na like the boys living with you, but or did that continue also until like after the divorce was finalized?
The boys have always stayed with me.
Eto po. Because, like, you guys were divorced. You guys were not together for so long. How was dating life for you guys during those, you could say, free period of single life?
Like when you closed that first chapter, was it how long did it kind of take for you guys to kind of like okay, this is done, maybe I can open up my heart to potential romances? Did What about you, Tita Neneng? Did you look into that dating scene or anything like that?
Not really soughting after, that kind of. I didn't sought after it, but there was a time where an old flame came back into the picture. Uh, it was short lived because maybe a big part of me was. I don't know for any other people, but for me, it was always the boys
Mm.
Of
that
course.
would make me take a step back and say, do I really want this, or is it necessary to have this in my life right now?
True.
Yeah.
Because I was over 40 years old when I divorced. I'm not that old yet, but I did not enjoy reintroducing myself to strangers.
Mm, I
Ah,
see, I see.
And
Yes.
at some point, it was tiring to keep saying, I'm divorced, I have two
Mm,
boys.
explaining
mm,
yourself.
mm,
Yeah.
mm.
So with that old flame that came back into the picture, he lives overseas also, so I didn't see it working out. Number one. Number two, he wasn't as free as I wanted him to be.
Mm.
Mm.
So no point, diba? So
True.
Mm. Yeah.
to me, to have gone through such a hurtful or traumatic experience in my personal life, you don't want complications anymore.
Tama naman din.
So
Yeah.
that didn't work. And I'd go out, I'd hang out, but the thought of seriously dating another person didn't appeal to me.
Mm.
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 To
I
me, it's
watched.
complicated.
Mm.
Yeah, true.
Yes,
Like
status is
again.
complicated.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because I watched the video. I was like, okay, how am I going to ask questions about like divorce and back? And I actually found a lot of divorce and back stories. So one of the
Mm.
question was, okay, were you guys ever thinking about each other even though you guys divorced? So Tito, were you still thinking about Tita Nanning while you're not together?
Yeah, I do.
Oh my gosh, Tita!
Kilig.
Hindi mo maalis siya kasi she has been the most vital part of my life, diba?
Mm.
She's the mother of my kids. She's the mother of my kids.
Of
Of
That
course.
course.
makes her the most vital part.
Mm.
So yeah,
And then in the videos that I watched too, the guy was saying like, even though I was with this person, or even though I'm doing something else, I would always think like, oh, it would be nice if I'm doing this with like Ella Rose. Oh, it would be nice in this situation she would understand me and stuff. Did you have those thoughts before?
I would say yes.
Mm. Tita Neneng just stared at you like, what's your answer?
Like, dapat
Yeah,
tama yung sagot mo, ah.
Yeah. Oh, okay, okay.
But
Kasi I think naman like hindi maalis like you said kasi there's so much history then, right? It's
Yeah.
like it's hard to kind of just like replace what was there and everything.
yeah, true.
What
Mm. Okay.
what about you, Tita Neneng? What was the did you have moments like that you were missing Tito Jake, or was it like I know like what caused it to you guys to finalize everything was kind of hurtful, but were there still moments, especially when you know you were just with your boys and you were like, oh, when they were looking for their dad, were you like, oh, maybe it wasn't like a good decision to just stop it like that?
I
Ooh.
respected what he wanted at that time, or what we
Mm-mm.
agreed to, where we
Mm-mm.
agreed to go, or where we agreed to be. But
Mm-mm.
there was not a day that I didn't wish na we worked harder to not get there.
Mm. Of
I
course.
was in Europe. I was in Europe 2012, and
Mm.
anywhere I went, I wished that I was with him.
Mm.
Even we weren't together.
Mm.
I had a lot of chance to travel when I was single,
Yeah.
and I always wish that I could have done it together with him.
Mm.
You guys were still in each other's mind. My gosh, you guys. Ito nga po. So, yun nga, we already started with you guys getting married, you guys divorced, how you guys dealt with divorce, and then this is the juicy one.
Yeah, like how was it the whole process of like how did you reconnect and then eventually, you know, rekindle those old flame feelings, and then when did you suddenly make the talk to be like, okay, let's try again?
Yeah.
Who wants to share first?
Ito,
Of
go.
course, me. I'm the one who talks the most.
Sige pa.
First of all, we were always connected.
Mm.
Uh, After maybe 3 years prior to getting back together, we, for some reason, we gotten closer. He just doesn't take the kids out anymore. Surprisingly, he would include me.
Yeah.
Let's have dinner. I'm off on that day. Let's have dinner. And I reciprocated with, him. That was very nice of him to ask me to include me. So we would go out with the boys for
Mm-hmm.
dinner, to, I don't know, watch a movie. And we talked about getting back together after we attended a wedding in
Oh,
2017. We were both
wow.
asked to be Ninang and Ninong to my
Huh.
best friend's daughter's wedding.
Uh-huh.
And preparation, flights, hotels. We even shared a hotel room.
Mm. Separate
Separate
beds.
beds.
Okay.
But we were in that comfortable zone with one another.
Yeah.
And if you must know, we were just there like roomies.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Ah.
So it was after that trip that I realized he's always here in my house. He's never leaving. So we
Oh.
talked. We
So
talked.
it started because of the wedding or throughout the process of going to the wedding?
I think it was the process of the wedding. I wasn't expecting anything. As a matter of fact, we had a talk 2 years prior to that if we want to try again.
Yeah.
Mm.
And at that point in my life, I didn't.
Mm.
I was rather comfortable with where I was.
Mm.
Mhm.
The freedom, if you like, of not having to be accountable to anyone except
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
I was enjoying that. But I did agree to be really friends again because Tito was right. We were never friends. We
Mm.
went from getting to know each other day one. The
Yeah.
next thing I know, we were engaged to each other and then married. And then we were parents to our boys. So we were
Mm.
never really friends.
Mm.
So we gave it maybe mga 2 years of, he would show up at my office and say, "You have any plans today? Let's go have dinner." Or I would call him up and say, "Hey, do you have time? Can you come over to the house?" That kind of thing. So the process was rather casual. No
Mm.
pressure. We went with the flow. We
Mm.
played it by ear. We
Mm.
respected each other's space until we had to attend the wedding.
Mhm.
That
Ah,
changed a lot
thank you,
between us.
wedding.
Thank you,
Yes.
Ed.
So Tita was saying about like during the process, that's how it kind of started. But did you already have that feeling of like I really want her back. I wanna keep trying and trying until this would work.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Yes.
During that
Ah,
period, 2 years prior, I was living on my own.
yeah.
Mhm.
And, living on your own that gives you a different perspective,
Mm.
makes you miss everything.
Oh. So ganito po yun. Of course, it's always the, okay, we decided ourselves. How is it telling others?
Yes. Like when you decided na things were all good and then you got back together. Like how was it explaining to everyone who was like, ah, akala ko, what, like that. And then now, oh, back together again.
We drove most people crazy. It's like, what?
Like,
Uncle, no.
Ano gusto
The
mo?
hardest, if you ask me,
Yeah.
was sharing the news with the boys,
oh.
with our boys. Uh, like me, maybe, they were used to just living with me. They've
Yeah.
sort of accepted the reality that dad doesn't live with us.
Mm.
So when we decided to give it a try again, it was telling them and living with their reaction was the hardest.
Really? If you don't mind us asking, like, what were their reaction?
Was
They
it
How are
said,
they?
"We're fine. Is
oh
this
they
necessary?" They thought it was no longer necessary, and
mm,
having him back into our lives that way, they actually resented it.
mm,
How long did it um process in their minds? Like, okay, our parents want to be together. They're happy together. We have to try to adjust. How long did that take for them to actually adapt with the situation?
I would say a year and a half.
Well, quite a
mm,
while.
Well, reactions from both boys were different.
Yeah.
mm,
Sure,
I'm
sure.
The older one was more affected. The
mm,
youngest one was, "You're happy, I'm happy." But
Yeah.
it
mm.
was the older one. The older one had a difficult processing the whole thing, accepting that he's coming back to live with us. Yeah,
So yeah, we did talk about your friends and support. Did you realize who your true friends were? Because yes, you do have a lot of friends and all, but then do you realize who your true friends, knowing that like it's a new news again? We talked to you about it, and then you said this, and then you said that. So what are we? What? Why are we still friends if you're not listening to us or blah blah blah? Something like that.
no,
Ah, okay.
we didn't really. Most of our friends who realized that we were back together was more kilig
Not really.
than having negative comments about it.
Mm,
Yeah,
'cause
I have very good friends.
mm.
Mm. Tito, do you have good friends?
No, I
Oh
don't have.
no. Your
Kawawa siya.
Tita's friends are your friends.
Kasi nga, I'm the bad guy, so I don't have friends.
No, I wouldn't say that. Although in the beginning of everything that has happened, it was hurtful. It's very betraying, but
Mm.
it's a mistake anyone could have made. I could have made that mistake.
Mm.
It could have been anyone. People make bad decisions. It's like Teacher Chang said.
True.
True.
Just
You're
wondering then, kasi yes, we were talking about your friends. Like, when did you or when did you feel was the right time to tell everybody? Like, had you guys like agreed between each other na? And did you tell like the kids first or
No,
When we
but
told
no?
them for sure.
we made sure that the boys knew first, and
Of
then
course.
because of social media these days,
Mm.
uh,
mm.
it was just a casual post of something, and then he tagged me,
Oh.
and then we were bombarded with, "Oh my God, are you together?"
Oh my
So
god.
it wasn't really a proper time or the right time to
Mm.
tell you honestly. I've always believed, and we both agree on that. I think that it's our business, so
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, as long as
Yes.
the people that are important to you know, and the two of you know what the situation is. No need to like, yeah,
Mm.
spread it out too. Mm.
absolutely. Even with my
Um,
parents, because we live in the same village, and they
Mm.
bumped into him one time without me actually, and then my mom came texting, "Is Jake living back with you?" That was, I'm like,
with
"Yes, opo."
attitude.
Ganun lang. No explanation whatsoever.
Yeah. It happens and you guys are of age na
Of
like
course.
Yeah.
they can't
Yeah.
yeah. So some people do say like, okay, they're going back together. Do they really have to remarry? What made
Mm.
you guys want to remarry instead of just like being together?
I was fine without being married in the beginning,
Oh.
but our decision to remarry is
Yeah.
more is based more on legalities in future,
Mm.
Mm.
say medical directives and
Mm.
whatnot.
Mm.
Because if we stayed unmarried and just decided to live together, we both agreed that we don't want to subject any of the boys to make
Difficult
difficult
decisions.
decisions when the time comes for
I
any one
see.
of us.
Mm.
Because just because we don't have that spousal privilege to make that
Mm.
decision for one another. And I
Mm,
want his money
true.
legally.
That's
Mm.
right.
I don't. There's nothing to get from me.
So yeah, to
So
answer your question, it was more on the legals and whatever wealth he has.
But
I
he
don't have.
he has nothing, so lose lose lose
Yeah,
that
I'll
this
let you
one.
is
know.
Oh,
okay.
Still
So
don't
the
have.
so still so that you're talking about like making it official and everything, but let's talk about then like how was it? Was there like how was the proposal this time around? Because last time you said it was very formal. You asked for her hand from the parents and everything, but like, was there something like big planned this time around? Was it bigger and better? Was there like
It was very
uh
No,
casual.
no. Even our during our first marriage, we've always been. Well, I'm very romantic. I mean, I'm hopeless romantic. But in terms of our proposal, we just talk about it and agree on it.
hmm, hmm,
And the second time was the same. No fuss kami. Just go for it.
yeah, nice. Walang
Yeah, it was
paligoy-ligoy.
wala.
yeah. Because you actually mentioned that this time around, because you said that you weren't friends first, but this time around you became friends. Do you think that helped the second time around? Like it made your bond stronger? Did it? You think it's what's one of the formulas why this time around it's going better?
Yeah, well, it worked for us. I
Yeah.
cannot say it would work for others, but it worked
Mm.
Mm,
for us.
And you know the time that we spent apart, uh,
mm,
at least for me, it gave me 9 years uh, to assess myself. How was I
Mm.
as his partner? Was
Mm.
I wanted? Was I a supportive partner?
Mm.
It gave us a lot of time to, at least for me, to assess myself. And
Mm.
there were so many things that I've learned along the way, all those 9 years without him in my life. And
mm.
yeah, it's actually very. It became productive.
Yeah.
Mm.
Would you say it's the same with you too, Tito? Like you
Yeah,
get to learn about yourself, your strength, your weakness with people and yourself.
yeah, definitely.
Mm, yeah.
Like I said, it gave us a different perspective,
Mm.
Yeah.
not just with our marriage, but also with life itself,
Mm.
Mm,
Mm.
individually and as a couple.
Mm.
mm.
But it's not for everybody.
It's not for
True.
everybody. Yeah.
Okay,
True.
mm,
It just
Because
worked for
it
us.
worked for us, not
Mm.
necessarily it's going to work for others.
yeah, true. Yun nga po, our podcast is more on expressing ourselves and people living abroad and people living in the Philippines. How do you think uh, people in the Philippines portray people who are divorced and back? And how do you think people abroad think about it?
Well, for me,
Mm.
the people in the Philippines will never understand how it works because they don't
Mm.
have divorce there in the first place. They have
Mm-hmm.
annulment.
Yes.
That's different.
Yeah.
And some they just don't go through it because it takes a lot of money
And
Mm.
to
time.
get annulled,
Mm.
right? Here, but if you have a divorce in your society,
Opo.
then it's easier. Divorce is easier than annulment, right?
Mm.
So
I should think
if
so.
you don't have one and you don't have the other, so you'll never understand it
True.
unless you go through with it yourself.
Mm-mm. I hope not. Stay with you, please.
I would never wish this on my worst enemy because it's a process
Yeah,
of, really it breaks you into pieces. Some are blessed enough to bounce back from it, but some don't. So I would never wish this to happen to anyone.
Mm.
What I would have preferred was,
Um,
anything between two people. There's
Papa.
always a way out. There's always
Mm-hmm.
a solution until there's really none, or you've
Mm.
exercised everything that you could. And if you will hurt each other more than staying together, then I don't advocate for divorce. I don't I would always encourage to talk things out first, but yeah, it's a very painful,
Mm-mm.
crazy process that no one should, if even possible, no one should go through. But if you have to, then
At least
because
you have the truth.
yeah,
Did you guys do anything to help with your mental health, or did you go to the church and talk to someone, or other than friends?
Yeah,
Did you go
did you
to any?
consult outside support or like sources like that?
Me,
Yeah.
no, especially I didn't. I was
Mm.
alone.
Mm.
Yeah.
I
Did
mean,
you
she
have
has
any
You,
friends.
you didn't
I
thought
did.
you
did you
Huh?
have
thought
any outlet maybe for like any of your feelings? Like, because you're alone, did you have any other way for
My outlet is riding a bus
oh.
and just wherever it goes, and then I get off there, roam around, and
Oh,
get back the
adventurous.
same bus. That's always been my outlet.
wow, wow.
Oh. Wow.
Oh.
That's true.
Oh,
Mm.
It cleared
wow.
my mind. I mean, it worked for me. Like I said,
Mm-mm.
whatever
Yeah,
worked for me may not have worked for
exactly.
anybody else. Of course, seeing the boys and her as well.
Mm.
Oh, look at that.
Well, for me, it was reconnecting, or I don't know, reestablishing rather my relationship with God helped a lot. I seek a lot of solace with my pastor at the time. It
Mm.
helped a lot that they were not judgmental, but they would encourage me to not give up, not let go.
Uh-huh.
But at the same time, counseling me to surrender my problems and just move on with my life the way it is. But I did seek professional counseling strangely after we got married.
Oh,
Remarried. Mm.
if you don't mind sharing, like why, while you're back again, why did you
Is
choose
it to like
to?
mm,
We mentioned earlier that it affected our older boy
Yeah,
when
yeah,
we
yeah.
got
Ah,
together,
mm,
okay.
and even after we were married, um, there was something that I realized that I cannot let go of,
Mm-mm.
was his past relationship.
Mm.
For whatever reason, there was a very big part of me that it bothered me so much that he did have a past, and
Mm.
because our older boy was showing resentment,
mm,
it kind of fed me that, yeah, why was he forgiven so quickly?
mm,
Why why are we pretending that that never happened?
mm,
So I got to a point where I was just going crazy. I mean, yung um, inner demons, if you like,
mm,
he can't help me. We end up fighting more than usual
Mm.
because I just couldn't let it go.
Mm-mm.
So I decided, if I don't do anything about this, then maybe this marriage will going to be shorter than the first one.
The breeze.
mm,
Mm.
And because I agreed to try again,
Yeah.
I had to do something about what was bothering me,
Mm-hmm.
true.
and it helped a lot.
Oh,
These professionals are there for a reason. They are
exactly.
trained to help people who cannot get out of a certain bubble, if you like. And you have friends, yes, but they don't have that
Mm.
professional training that those people have. So
True.
I'm very, very glad that I sought for that kind of counseling.
Mm-mm. Tito, during those times na Tita is going for counseling and like yun nga po, you guys were arguing a lot more than the previous, would you say previous marriage or previously? How are you there to support her
I've
during
been
those
drinking a lot.
Oh no.
like, bahala ka dyan, may problema ka.
You see my eyes rolling.
No,
Mm.
support wise, how did I support her?
Were you more patient this
Just
time?
kept on.
Yeah.
I just kept on listening.
Mm,
I wasn't
true.
feeling insecure.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
it wasn't me feeling insecure or fearing that something similar might happen again. No.
Mm,
I was trapped in this bubble. When he says something that doesn't concern me, or we go to a place where I was aware that it was with a previous
mm,
person, it it drives me crazy. It drove me crazy.
triggers.
So I had to learn how to let that go, like as in
Mm,
completely, because if I weren't able to do that, we won't be sitting down here in front of you girls.
mm, true.
That one was tough. That one was tough on me. Because it's all in
Yeah,
here.
Yeah.
yeah.
True.
Eto po.
Since you're like talking then about like, because now you're like both very aware then of yourselves and like how, because you're taking steps then to like keep a check on yourself so that this time it will go much smoother. I just want to know like for you both, like how would you define like a healthy marriage, and like for the both of you, like what does that like what contributes talaga to make a marriage work?
For me, I think it's the openness.
Mm,
I mean, you're open to whatever your partner says, and your partner must be open to whatever you say.
po.
Hindi naman offensive or whatever.
Mm,
It's just being open to each other. No secrets like that.
mm,
I mean, love will always be there, but
Mm-hmm.
it's the little things like uh, misinterpreting you for something that it wasn't the intention
mm,
because there's something going on. It cannot be like that. You have to be more
mm,
open.
Mm-hmm.
mm,
Marriage, it's a unity, a union between two very different people.
Mm-hmm.
mm,
Uh, Compromise.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the, to me, it's one of the most important things, compromise. And what I learned from counseling is no one wins
mm,
an argument, or maybe no one wins. You have to have a middle ground. If I present a plan A, he would present a plan B, with us
mm.
whether aware or not you want your plan to go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes.
My counselor taught me to come up with a plan C,
Mm. That
which is
involves
something
both
that
of
people,
yours. Mm.
and always listen. Always listen to one another, be aware of each other's well-being. You know,
Mm,
I learned that when we were together the first time, when we were married the first time, I took him for granted on a lot of occasions because, like I said, from being married, I became mother to two children.
Mm.
mm,
Mm.
You do not at least try. Do not neglect one another. Keep the romance. Keep
Mm.
dating.
yeah.
It
Mm.
doesn't matter if
Mm.
it's a walk in the park or just,
Taking the
just the two of you.
bus.
Walk the
Taking the.
dog.
Mm.
So now
Yeah,
Tito Jake can take the bus with you, ride the car with you.
I'll
Yeah.
take the car, but I have to
Take
take
the
him
car.
too.
Yeah. True.
Even as as simple as you know, crowding the couch
Oh,
Mhm.
and watching
true.
TV.
Mhm.
It's
I read it from somewhere that
simple things
you're
like that.
happiest when you're with someone that you truly love and you're comfortable without having to say
Yeah.
anything to each other. You're just there.
Mhm.
Mm,
Like sitting in silence, enjoying each other.
Yeah,
Mm.
I think we're there already.
true. Some people don't understand that though. Like, oh, you're together, but you guys are not talking. Ano ba kayo? Like, we're respecting each other's space.
True.
You
And
don't have to
yes,
understand me.
give each other space when they want it. It's
Mm.
like
Mm.
when he's into something that I'm not interested in, so let it be.
Mm.
And
Mm.
expect the same. Leave me alone when I'm
What's the worst that could happen?
right.
True. Aw,
Well, luckily we share a lot of things in common. We like
Common.
watching
Mm.
TV. We like going to the
Mm.
movies. We like driving
nice.
around. We like fixing up the
Nice.
house. We like arguing, agreeing with each other.
That happens, like relationship, like even friendship, like siblings and family members, especially like romantic wise. There's always like ups and downs. So
Of course.
arguments is always there. It just
Any
depends on how
relationship.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ito nga po. So we're in the portion of giving each other's
Messages.
message.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh, you don't really have to
My
say give
GME
an
71.
essay. Yun nga, pre. Then like it could be a short message to maybe your boys if they ever listen to this and
Yeah.
message to each other or friends and families. Like thank you for your support. I just wanna
Mm. Yeah. Like whatever you want to share at this moment, the floor is yours.
Oh, well, in the beginning, I did say that I believe I'm a better version of myself. And I don't want to be, I don't want to give you any reason to be disappointed in me again. So
Same here.
if we bicker and banter, I actually enjoy that
That's
now.
normal.
Yeah, rather than getting annoyed by it. Well, you are annoying still, but I enjoy that now,
Me too.
Aww.
Mm.
and I will continue to be, the better version of myself.
Me too.
Charles,
Tito, me too.
Me
Like
too.
I agree
compromise.
with you.
Compromise.
Oh god.
That's the compromise.
and like what Tito said, I think it's very important that you're able to say whatever you want
Mm.
to your partner, be
Mm.
it that it may
May
possibly
hurt.
offend him or hurt her,
Yeah,
but that's the thing. If you can't say what you want, then what's the point of being
exactly.
together?
It's like
True.
like what I told her always. Communication is
Mm.
listening, not just to respond, but to understand.
Mm.
His
Mm.
favorite quote.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's true
that's communication.
though.
Mm. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
If you're
It's
just
so true.
listening to reply or respond, then
You're not
what's
really
the point?
listening.
You're
Mm.
not
Yeah.
listening,
The truth be
actually.
told, I used to be like that. I listen because I need to answer back. I need to answer back.
True.
Yeah.
If you
I
listen to understand first, and then
exactly.
you can do the more proper respond.
Mm. I think I shared this in the previous episode, and I did share with Marsden, and we also kind of do it more
Yes.
recently. I mean, like from time to time. So we would. I heard this from my brother, si Mark. He actually told me he's like, to be honest, while listening to others, it's best to ask them first whether do you want my opinion or do you want me to listen. So at least in the beginning, there's an understanding. Okay, I'll be here to listen. I won't butt in. I won't.
Yeah. Like.
I won't
Mm.
respond to whatever you're saying because sometimes
Correct.
people
I
just
agree.
want to listen. Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. So yun. Oh.
And we hope that, what we've, happily shared here is, although it doesn't work for everyone, but we also hope
Mm,
that it gives a little inspiration to other people who are at the edge of their marriage or
Mm.
relationship. That
Mm.
mm,
I truly believe that we are blessed to have this do over,
mm.
Mm. Mm.
not just for the both of us, but for our entire family along with our boys. We actually have three boys. Tito Jake has a older boy from a previous marriage, and he's as good as my son as to my two other boys.
Mhm.
He will not have that do over that my boys have.
Mm.
But I will love him to death for being supportive to his brothers. That you can have. It's not like you can have dad, but it's very happy
Yeah.
for him that this family, this family of ours, was given a chance for a do over. Not everyone
Yeah.
gets that.
Exactly. Napo, it's the end of this
Already,
episode.
I have
Yes,
more to
alright.
say. No.
Oh, sige, continue.
Yes,
You
sige.
want to share? Go. No, we're happy to like invite you for
Yeah.
another guesting. Yeah,
I'd be happy if you guys will have me again.
of
Yeah,
Or
because
course.
ask.
talaga that's
Ako na yung
Yeah.
such
dadalhin
it's so
doon.
insightful.
Let's go.
Like what you both shared because like
Like this
yeah.
talaga.
No, you did share. You did share some, but
Yes, you did.
feel
Like
free
what
to. Yeah, well, go.
no, it was like what you did share was like short but sweet. Like it was like andun lahat ng as in the deep messages behind it. So yeah, I'm very
Thank you.
appreciative of that.
Thank
And
you.
yes,
That's the
You
Jake.
didn't.
Kasi putay.
But
and
yeah, if you have any other topics that you guys want to still share about your marriage life, please
mhm.
do like contact us.
I'll tell you,
Mm.
Jane. I'll PM you, Jane.
Oh my gosh. Sige po. I'm ready.
So once again, you've got your Kumares,
Michelle, aka Cheng Babe, and
Bethany, aka Betcha by Galiwao, and a special thanks again for our couple, Tita Neneng and Tita Jake, for sharing their stories and inspiring all couples out there.
3, 2, 1. Kita
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 kits!
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 Okay na yun!
Okay na yan.